People have been asking for a new prediction video, and it is time that I finally give you guys the current status of the race. There's gonna be one more prediction video the day right before the election. Alright? This is the second to last presidential prediction I am making. I hope you guys enjoy. Buckle in. This is gonna be kind of an interesting one. So, a lot has changed since the last prediction. We've had all the debates done. All the new data come in. Early voting data has started across the nation. And I'm going to make my prediction as of now. Alright? Based on all the data we got. We shall start first of all with the safe states. For Donald Trump, he's going to win Alaska. Don't give me this nonsense that Joe Biden's going to be within 10 in Alaska. Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas. All of Nebraska except Nebraska second. Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. For Texas, the reason I made it safe is because the oil comments made by Joe Biden and all early voting data we have is showing that Donald Trump is going to easily win that state. It's looking like the suburbs of Houston and Dallas are home to Trump. Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina. These are the safe Republican states, alright? This isn't the firewall. These are the states that are for sure going to Trump no matter what. For Joe Biden, it's going to be California, Washington, Hawaii, D.C., Maryland, the Northeast, New York, Maine's first, and of course the state of Illinois. This is the safe map, alright? These are the states that for sure nobody can argue about are going to the candidate. For Texas, Trump is going to win again by 10, 12 points at least, based on the early data we got. Republicans are absolutely wiping out Democrats in Texas, right? So now we got to do the likely states. For Democrats, that's going to be Oregon, Colorado, and Virginia. You might be asking yourself, though, what about New Mexico? We'll get into New Mexico for a second, alright? But I am sad to say that my Colorado prediction, not looking like it's going to happen. I've been saying for months, Colorado was going to be a sleeper state that was going to be extremely tight. But early voting data is indicating that that's not the case. A lot can change, but as of now, I don't see it for Republicans to do well in Colorado. For the likely Republican states, Iowa, Ohio, Georgia. In Ohio, Republicans are wiping out early voting. Iowa, it's a bit closer, but again, that's going to be likely margin for Trump. And Georgia, same as Ohio, that's a disaster for Democrats in Georgia. That's a complete failure. So yeah, this is the likely states. And the map is starting to get a little bit worse for Biden, if you notice. Because the lean states, well, it doesn't get much better for Biden. Let's start with the lean Republican states. Arizona, North Carolina, Florida, and I forgot Maine's 2nd district's likely. These are the lean Republican states, and Nebraska 2nd is lean Republican. This is terrible news for Biden. This is the firewall for Trump. The reason that I have Arizona lean, data is showing Republicans are going to win Arizona by around 2 points. Trump is. Florida, it's borderline Bush margins in the state of Florida for early voting, based on early voting in the polls. Because Republicans are basically wiping out Democrats' early voting. Democrats were supposed to have a 700,000 vote lead by election day. They're only at 360,000, and it's going down by a second. North Carolina, same deal as Florida. It's not pretty for Democrats' early voting. Now, the lean states for Joe Biden is going to be Maine at large, and this is a controversial pick, but I'm saying New Mexico. The reason I am saying New Mexico, almost 15% of the workforce in New Mexico, this was done by a study, is indirectly or directly held because of oil and energy in New Mexico. And New Mexico, a lot of their budget comes from oil. A third of their budget's from oil and energy. That's not good for Biden. And plus, you got Hispanics going to Trump big time. Every data is showing that New Mexico is borderline lean, if not lean. I'm making it lean because the Hispanic vote is going to be a lot better for Trump, and he's going to get a lot more of oil workers indirectly, directly working in the oil business that, while may not have voted him before, are for sure voting for him now if they want to keep their jobs. This is pretty big. Because, while yes, Trump doesn't need to win New Mexico. If he just campaigns in New Mexico once or twice, he may get a little bit closer, but he won't. So, these are the 6 legitimate battleground states. All of them are looking bad for Biden, alright? He's only going to be winning, in this scenario, one of them. Because the one state he's going to be winning is going to be the state of Nevada, for sure. We'll talk about the Rust Belt states. Looking at Nevada, early voting is saying that Trump is actually doing pretty good in Nevada. But as of now, I just don't see enough to say that Trump is going to win Nevada. So I'm going to put a tilt to Biden. Anything could change, but as of now, I highly doubt that Biden will lose the state of Nevada. Well, it's time for the Rust Belt. In the Rust Belt, we're going to start in the state of Minnesota. Trump is going to win this election for Minnesota in the Iron Range, in particular St. Louis County and Washington County, the suburbs of Minneapolis. If he flips St. Louis, Washington, and Carleton County, which Carleton County and St. Louis looks like he's going to flip now. And early voting is suggesting that Republicans are wiping the floor with Democrats in Washington County. If that holds up, Trump is going to win Washington County. And Dakota County, possibly. And you take a look at it, if Trump just approves 5,000 here in Washington, 1,000 in Carleton, 20,000 in St. Louis, and just across the state, place like Olmsted and Dakota, approve in Dakota by 5,000-6,000, Olmsted by a couple thousand. That's just enough to get him the state of Minnesota. And early voting is suggesting that the suburbs of Minnesota, in Minneapolis in particular, are furious with Democrats. That is why I am saying that Trump will win the state of New Mexico, or Minnesota, sorry. But he's going to win the state of Minnesota. The data does not look good for Biden whatsoever in that state. Now, we got the great state of Wisconsin. The WOW counties are home to Trump. Waukesha, Republicans are beating Democrats 72% to like 8% in Waukesha. Trump only got 60% of the vote in Waukesha. He's on pace to get Romney levels of support in Waukesha, which is like 68%, I believe. If you check the change from 2012, 66, 67%. If he gets that in Waukesha and does the same as Ozaki, which, same deal, gets 64%, right there, that's around 25,000 votes, right there alone. In early voting in the Fox Valley, places like Oshkosh are big time for Trump. It's looking like this part of the state, which is, the Fox Valley pretty much. These are where places like Oshkosh is. Places like Sheboygan to an extent. All of these, in total, looks like Trump's going to improve by 20,000 votes here alone. So really, this can offset almost 30,000 vote swing in the Driftless area, which is places like Sauk County, Richland, Vernon, Crawford, etc. He's on pace to win the state by a lead margin. Look at early voting data. It's just not there for Biden. Mathematically speaking, Biden's going to have to flip almost 50,000 votes in this part of the state just to have a chance. And that's not even accounting for Trump doing a little bit better in Eau Claire or the northern part of the state. It's looking like Trump in total is going to improve in the northern part of the state by 10,000 votes, early voting. All of this is pointing to Biden basically lose the state by a couple percentage points at this point. I'm going to say around a 1.5% victory for Trump, which is just enough in the lead margin to 2%. So already Trump already has the election, 280 electoral votes. Now we got 3 more states. Michigan. This is a disaster for Democrats. It's a complete failure. Republicans are leading Democrats in early voting in Michigan. And it just keeps getting worse and worse as every day goes by. And ever since Biden's debate performance, the lead keeps getting worse and worse for Democrats. It went from a 1-point lead for Democrats a couple of days ago to a 1-point lead for Republicans early voting to a 2-point lead. And I believe it's a 3% lead now. the numbers get worse and worse. And in particular, the traditional Republican part of the state, Kent County, Ottawa County, looking like that Trump's going to win those two counties by a wider margin. They did. It gets worse and worse. I'm saying Trump's going to win the state of Michigan by probably a tilt margin, maybe a little bit better than last time, but as of now, it's looking pretty good for Michigan. Now we got Pennsylvania. Oh boy. This is the one state where we have no clue what's going on. The reason for this is while, yes, early voting looks like a complete failure for Republicans, the issue is we're having polls where 85% of Republicans are going to vote on Election Day. And quite frankly, I have no clues in win Pennsylvania this time. And with Biden making those fracking comments, I think it's going to be Trump. But Pennsylvania is a video on its own. I will make a video on Pennsylvania by itself. Nothing else. We'll make a video on that later. I'm going to keep it as a toss-up. It's way too close as of now. For the state of New Hampshire, this is an interesting one, but I do think that Biden will win the state of New Hampshire by roughly a smaller margin than Clinton did, but just enough, I think. Yes, the colleges are out, but I just don't think that Biden will lose it as of now. And yeah, so this is my current prediction. I will be making a video on Pennsylvania tomorrow, most likely. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, hit the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and no, it's not Safe Democrat. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.